Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lecture number 29 for the subject of software design and architecture iTech 4129. I am your course instructor Fahad Anwar. So students, before I start my today's lecture discussion, I would like to give you a little bit recap about our last lecture. So students, if you remember what we discussed in our last lecture, so students, we are discussing the reusability approach named as software product line, where we see a product line actually consists of multiple systems which have same architecture and share some common or core assets, and this software product line actually generalized around a common architecture so that it can be adopted for different customers. So we also see different goals for developing a software product line, like reduction of cost, improved delivery time, and improved quality, and ultimately or consequently, with the help of this software product line, the productivity of the product will be increased. And then we see the motivation behind building software product line by different companies, why different companies are moving towards building their own software product line. We also see the motivation behind this, the notion for different companies to develop their own product lines. And then we see a meta model for software product line, where we see business goals, architecture, component, and services are basically three building blocks to form a product line, which actually exploit the commonality and the bound variability as well. So, and we also see the this business goal is satisfied by the architecture, and this architecture is used to structure component and services, which actually leading towards the formation of product lines, which ultimately contains the commonality and the bounded variability as well. So after the meta model of software product line, we also discuss the reasoning of software product line, and then we see a software product line engineering, where we see how different organizations are actually looking to build or develop different products from core assets rather than developing these products from scratch. We also see this term as well. And then we also discuss the two application models of product line engineering, where we see a modeling and development, and we see how modeling is associated with design for reuse, and how development is also known as design with reuse. And then we see the difference between the problem domain and the solution domain, and we call the problem space is actually associated with the domain, and solution space is actually associated with the product line. And I also provide you some examples as well. And then after this background introduction and literature work about the software product line, we formally see the Software Engineering Institute definition about the software product line as well. And then at the end of our last lecture, we also see the return on investment of software product line, how the software engineering community invested on subroutines, modules, objects, components, services, etc. And all of these investments by the software engineering community are now heading towards the software product line, and these investments are actually providing a return on investment by building a software product line. So this is a little bit recap about our last lecture. So students, let's formally start the discussion of our today's lecture. So students, this second lecture number 29 is also a continuation of reusability approach named as software product line. And now in this lecture we will see the key concepts of software product line as product line development, and why software product line works. And then we see different product lines with the help of some examples. And then we will see some hall fame stories, a few success stories which is actually utilized by the top renowned world companies, which actually based on this product line as well. And then we see a family of systems. And at the end of this lecture we will discuss a product line architecture as well. So students, it's a little bit objective of our today's lecture discussion. So let's formally see the details of our today's lecture discussion. So students, as I discussed earlier, software product line is actually is a software intensive system sharing a common managed set of features which actually satisfy the specific needs of particular market segment or mission that are developed from a common set of core assets. So what are the core assets? So as I discussed in the previous lecture, students, these core assets are vary from company to company or organization to organization, but generally core assets include component, framework, library, subroutines, functions, modules, tool, development platforms. So students, these are the different uh, core assets we have. And students, this software product line engineering, as we see, is basically guides different organizations to develop for the development of different products from their core assets, rather than looking to develop these products from the scratch as well. So this product line actually helps us to design to take the advantage of their common aspects and predicted variabilities as well. So these are the different three key concepts of software product line. So the first one is about the architecture, which is actually use of a common asset base. So what is a common core asset base? Core asset base, as we discuss, core asset base can be a component, structure, services, architecture, application domain, frameworks, library, tool, development or execution platform. Student, all of these are different common asset base. And the next key concept is production plan, about the in the production phase as well. And then the third one is the scoping definition is actually is a related set of products. So scoping of definition is also an important aspect of software product line. Scoping or scope definition is actually, we can say that a product line scope is a statement about what system an organization is willing to build as a part of its line of work. So it's a scoping definition or a business case by any company. So different companies will have different scope definitions, provide the different business case as well. So we can say that a product line scope is actually a statement about what system an organization is willing to build as a part of its line. So this scoping actually represents the organization best prediction about what products it will be asked to build in future as well. So this is the third key concept of software product line. We see the architecture based on the uses a common asset based production plan, and the scoping definition or a business case, which is actually a related set of products built by any organization or company. And now students, we will see the software product line development. So students, what is a software product line development? So product line development, students, before I start this product line development, we will focus on about the main idea behind this product line. So student, basically we can say that a product line development is a decomposition of the entire application portfolio of an organization according to these or their common characteristics. So here you can see the diagram for product line development. So it actually included three phases: core asset management, product development, and the management. What are the core asset management? What are the core assets? We also have been discussed in previous slides and lecture as well. Let's discuss these three phases or stages of product line development one by one. So the first one is, students, core asset development. So students, we can say that core asset development is the creation and maintenance of the artifacts or core asset in the product line. So these core assets are used to create systems that match the quality criteria of the product line. For example, if the types of products that are developed in the product line have a high maintainability requirement, so then the core asset should reflect this requirement and account for the need for good maintainability. So students, we can say that the goal of core asset development activity is to create a capability within the organization to produce a particular type of application and will the same or similar software architecture as well. So this is a main goal behind this core asset development. And the next one is product development. So what is a product development? product development is the second constituency of this software product line development. So in this product development actually involves the creation of products or systems from the core assets of the product line. In this product development, which are actually involves the creation of different products or systems from the core assets of the product line. So the first stage was the core asset development. After the development of core assets, the next phase is product development, and this product development actually involves the creation of products or systems from the core assets of the product line. So students, if a system like require an asset that is not, so if a system I say requires an asset that is not included in the core asset, so the core asset must be created if the asset can be shared across multiple products in the product line. So if so in other words, you can say that if your core asset is not satisfy some system requirement, so the core asset must be created if the asset can be shared across multiple products in the product line. So it is a strategic decision whether or not to build a new core asset or to create a product specific feature to project under development. So it's all depending upon the different organizations to what are they are going to develop a new core asset, or they are only focusing on the existing core assets. So also you students, if the core asset that exists in the product line does not match the quality requirement of the product under development, the core asset may be enhanced or modified. So to achieve the quality requirements for the underdeveloped product, the core asset may be enhanced or modified by the organization as well. So the first step was a core asset development. After the development of core asset, we create the different products or systems from these core assets. If these core assets does not include the required functionality of the does not contain the required functionality of the demanding system, so it's company decision what are they are going to design new core asset to meet that requirement, or they are only focusing on the existing feature as well. So the quality requirement for the existing or under developing product is also an important aspect. So the core asset may be enhanced or modified to achieve the required quality as well. So after the product development, the third stage is management. So management is the last stage of product line development. So students, management must involve to ensure that the two constituencies are interacting correctly. So the part of management is the core asset development and the product development constituencies are interacting with each other correctly. So instituting a product line practice at an organization requires a strong commitment from management as well. So students, it is also important to identify like which assets are part of the product line and which one are part of the development of the individual products of the system as well. So as the name suggests, management consists of the management of individual projects within the product line, as well as overall product line managers as well. So students, the role of product line manager is one of a product line champion. So the champion is a strong visionary leader who can keep the organization working toward the core creation of core asset while limiting any negative impact on project development as well. So you can conclude about the third stage of product line development is the task or goal of project management stage of product line development is to ensure that the two constituencies, what are the two constituencies, core asset development and the product development, are interacting correctly with each other, and this management is actually responsible to provide a cohesive force between these two constituencies. So students, these are the some discussion about these three different stages of product line development. So first we build a core asset development. Now from this core asset we build a product development. So if our product does not fulfilling some functionality from the core asset, we will the organization will focus on to provide new function or add some function in the core asset, or whether it will be going with the existing function, or the quality enhancement will also be modified by the existing organization as well. So after the product development, the management actually provides the cohesive or the interacting force between these two constituencies, the core asset development and the product core asset development and the product development. So basically these are the three different stages, development phases or constituencies of product line development. And now students, these are the different things which make software product line works. So students, product line actually pay back the investment in these core assets. Like there are the different core assets which can be managed by any organization. So product line actually pay back to these investments made by different organizations in terms of core assets. Like core assets can contain requirements, software architecture and design elements, modeling, testing, project planning, process, people with their knowledge, skills and so on. Our main focus will be on software architecture and design, and all of these core assets actually these core assets are actually pay back to the respective organizations as well. So students, return on investment of software product line we also have been discussed in our previous lecture. So and different companies can make their core assets from different components, services, etc. So these are the different core assets investments which any company can be made in these areas. So product line actually pay back the investment did by any organization or company. So what are the product lines? So students, as we discussed earlier, product line technology actually builds family of products which actually exploit some common core assets by managing their variability as well. So these are the two very famous examples of product line. Like the Boeing avionics company build the 757 and E767, the two different planes share 60% of components only because of their product line, and the Mercedes-Benz class E model shares 70% of their architecture, component, etc. So you can see that the top was two companies, one from the avionics and the second one from the automobile, Boeing and the Mercedes. So these two big companies actually sharing most of their work from their product line. So this huge amount of reusability actually helps to scale economies and efficiency. So because they are focusing on the integrating the existing components rather than looking for the new one. So this is the major benefit of this product line approach. So the student, these are the few successful stories of product line approach. So I also put a link for you here. So this is these are the organizations in the product line Hall of Fame. So students, these organizations are actually who are utilizing the product line. So students, these are the organizations in the product line Hall of Fame. So I also put a link over here. You can just go through there and you can by yourself you can go through these different organizations who actually utilizes the product line. As you see in the previous example, the two famous companies of the world, the Boeing and the Mercedes for automobile, and the Boeing from the avionics company, actually utilizing the more than 60 to 70% components from their from their already existing product lines. So you can judge the importance of product line which is utilized by the organizations in the product line Hall of Fame is also mentioned. So these are the different list of companies who actually utilizes the different product line, and their names are listed in the Hall of Fame. And you can just go to this link and you can self-study all of these success stories who are utilizing the product line approach. So what is the family of system? So students, family of system is actually about family of system. Why we need some product line approach? Because as we discussed earlier, there is a complexity, time, the repetition of again and again the same functions from the scratch as well. So that's why we need some approach that can reduce the development effort and which can ultimately can increase the productivity as well. So moving from designing single products to producing engineering families of products is a main mission behind the product line approach. So that's why we need to identify the generic solution to common problem, and then we build related products by assembling components, and then at the end we provide a universal platform in the software product line. And what is a product line architecture? So students, now we are moving toward the specific architecture and design aspect of software product line. So product line architecture is basically a common design framework which standardizes and maximizes the reuse potential of all software artifacts generated during the development. So these artifacts which are generated during the development involves like requirements, design, different patterns, of course the actual code, components and documentation as well. So these are the different artifacts which are actually generated during the development. So in the next diagram you can get the clear idea behind the what is actually the product line architecture. So how to capture the product line architecture? So these are the different terms like common core. So common core actually contains the features common to all products, and FA is the feature specific to product A, and FB is feature specific to product B. And if when we build a product A which actually consists of a common core assets plus feature of product A, and when we build a product B which actually contains the common core assets plus the feature of B. So if you look into the diagram for product A and product B, you can see that for the product A there also contain a feature of product A, and if we look into the product B, so there also contain a feature of product B. So students, you can also see that there are some common core assets which are actually a feature common to all products. So you can see that in the product A and in the product B, so there are some common core features or assets. So that's why this reusability approach is very important. You can see that in the product A and in the product B, 50% assets are common core assets. So these common core assets in the architectural approach will help us to increase the productivity of our product as well. So students, what are the architectures for product line? So students, a product line architecture actually captures the architecture of many related products at the same time. So a product line architecture in my point of view actually consider three things. Not from my point of view, from the, you can say that from the from most of the author's point of view as well. So as a software product line is a open source topic as well. Different authors has different views as well. So the first one is identifying variation points. So what does it mean about the identifying variation points? So identifying variation point means like variation discovered during requirement process, like features, user interfaces, qualities and target markets. So the variation points discovered during architecture design process, like either option for implementing the various identified during and the requirement process or normal variation during design. So these are the different variations which are identifying the different points which are discovered during the requirement process and during the architecture design process as well. So these different variations are actually discovered during the requirement process and the architectural design process as well. And now the second point is spotting these variation points. So now how to spot these variation points? So we can spot these spotting variation points like in inclusion of different elements, like inclusion of different number of replicated elements as well. So students, a selection of version of elements that have the same interface but different behavioral or quality attribute characteristics are the spotting variation points as well. And the third one is evaluating the architecture for product line suitability. The last aspect of architecture for product line is the evaluation of our architecture. So basically now the architecture is evaluated for its robustness and generality as well. So the evaluation process actually focuses on what to evaluate, how to evaluate, and when to evaluate our architecture. So these kind of questions are basically addressed in the evaluation stage as well. So students, these are the different product line architect we need to consider these three different things. So student, this is the discussion about our today's lecture number 29. So student, till here our lecture number 29 is ended.